Welcome to Ein Sof. I'm Byron Jackson.
And I'm Jennifer O'Neill. And Ein Sof is the period before creation that was both unending and infinite.
We look at iconic figures from around the world to see what were they like before it all began.
Hello, how are you?
Are we on?
We're back.
Holy cow, I didn't even know we were on. This is what aging looks like. People will tell you, hey, we're here.
And there you are.
And there I am. You look very nice today.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you very much.
You got your new glasses on?
No, these are my old ones.
You're old, but are they the old new ones?
No, these are just my old ones.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen them before, but I knew you were getting just your lenses replaced.
Yeah,
so.
And those are ready. So as soon as I agree to part with $270, I can go get them. And
it's painful, especially at Christmas.
Yeah, but I don't buy presents, so
that's right. Never mind.
It's
painful anytime.
It is. I was listening. I've been listening to Neil Diamond all today. And man, his words. But he has this song called I Love My Blue Jeans or something. And he said, money could buy a lot of stuff, but money can't dance and money can't do all these different things. I just love my blue jeans.
Wow, that's pretty profound.
Yeah.
I was a little bit ruined to him because my dad didn't like him and thought he was very uncool. So I grew up with a little bit of a bias.
They actually are making a movie's coming out on him soon.
Maybe I'll soften to it.
Well, of course, everyone's sings to Sweet Caroline. Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum. See? So even hating him, you sing him. So
that's right. Yeah.
Good times never look so good. So good. So good. So good.
That's right.
That wasn't my icebreaker even.
Okay, well.
This is the ultimate icebreaker.
All right.
Tell me when I'm on.
Well, I was going to just say that we're going to be back with Byron today going over his 40s. But before we do that, what would you like to say or ask?
What is the icebreaker?
Yeah.
Okay, so they say that like if you made an ice pick of ice and you stab someone with it, that it would kill them and then all the evidence would melt. So my question to you would be, how long do you think it would take the ice pick to melt before it dissolved, once it was in your body?
The same length of time for any ice to melt.
Well, that's not telling me a time.
I'm trying to give you a scientific equation without being scientific.
Okay. I think 5 minutes.
I guess if it was a really skinny icebreaker, it depends on how big and thick it is.
I like how you call that an icebreaker. If it was a skinny icebreaker, that's what my icebreakers are like. They're like a slow, painful death by an ice pick that slowly melts in your body. So.
Well, I like how you did, what do you even call that? It's an icebreaker using ice.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Good job on the creativity there.
Okay. So I have another one. So if you made something in ice cube, so would you rather it be something like cherry juice, strawberries, pineapples, vodka?
What flavor would I prefer?
Yeah.
I like cherry or grape.
Grape, cherry grape.
Yeah. I guess if you added vodka in, you wouldn't be able to taste it very much in the ice.
So you would take both of those.
I'm not a big vodka drinker, though.
Well, any booze, beer,
Wine,
wine,
frozen wine.
frozen wine. You would like frozen wine.
Sure, that might be a nice summertime.
Icebreaker.
What about you?
Sorry there with the squeaky. Haven't oiled myself today. Probably mango. Mango would be good. Lemon, probably my favorite, like lemonade.
Yeah, you do like lemonade.
I do like lemonade. So you actually know me way too well.
I used to do that when I was a kid. Put flavored stuff in ice.
See, yeah, me too. Says we couldn't afford the ice cream man, so
Yeah.
my mother would go, I got your ice cream man right here. We're going to get some Kool-Aid and freeze it.
And Tang. Oh,
and
yeah.
Tang. I love Tang.
I did too.
You know, I hated it. I go, everybody else drinks stuff already made. Why do we have to mix our own here? But now, like, I would love to have Tang.
I loved it then, though. I love Tang. I just drink that stuff.
Tang was good.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to talk about, in our part 4, the 40s, being a presenter and a facilitator.
Which marriage was I on then?
I think you had just gotten out of the house with the kids because you'd gotten sober.
Okay.
And then so you had the revelation that you were good at this whole presenting thing.
Yes.
And so then you left NAIC. And did that open up opportunities for you to present to adults or elsewhere?
Yes, I started doing it. Up until that time, I did only children.
At NAIC and everywhere, and at the camps.
Yeah. And so when I started doing working with adults, people actually go, I don't know if you'll be able to work with adults because they're different than kids. And which is hilarious now because people go, I don't know if you'll be able to work with kids because they're different than adults. I still feel more comfortable with teenagers than any brand of human ever. And so
yeah, I could agree with that.
So yeah.
So do you just feel like you can be yourself, or you can be
I do.
kind of at home? And
yeah, like I don't have to do pretensions, but I have to take risks with them before they respond. Mm-hmm. So if I just go, hello, Jennifer, good to meet you.
They're like, yeah, snooze fest.
But like I went to a party the other night, and so I was talking to this one teenage girl, and I go, do you kids still put their hand under their arm and flap it so that they make a farting sound? And she goes, well, girls don't, but guys might. So they had a whole bunch of boys there. So I went out in the backyard and said, hey, do you guys still put your hand under your arm and make farting? So they immediately all stopped and started putting their hands under and flapping their arms. And one kid was very good. I was like, wow, that's...
Wow, it's like a choir of farting children.
Yeah, and the adults will come out and go, what are you doing?
You're so proud.
What are you doing?
To get them all farting.
What are you doing with our children? Oh, nothing. Farting noises.
So what kind of communities did you start working with?
The first, I think probably, well, first of all, when I presented, it's interesting you said that because when I was presenting, I always had such an empty feeling when I finished. There might be, if there's a crowd of 50 people, there might be one who didn't like it, or two, or I could have did something better or different. And so I just had this incomplete feeling. And so then I started, when I left, I started actually looking at facilitating, which is instead of me being up front with a speech, I would just have them do stuff. And then I would like facilitate talking about what they had just done or what they had talked about. And when I started doing that, I felt at home. Mm-hmm. I mean, I felt like I had found this is it. So people could do any, you could have any subject, and I could facilitate a group so that they could have discussion about that. And so the first group I started doing that with was probably the disability audience. And so my friend Dan, who's blind, traveled around the world, and he would do trainings, and he would do ADA trainings, which was how to advocate for ADA, disabilities, so that they have sidewalks. So if you have a wheelchair, you can get in, or so to make sure that buildings and stuff were up to code in terms of adjusting to people with disability. But his trainings, he would spend like a week with people. And so he would bring me in to do community building sort of things, just to kind of break the monotony of him just lecturing. And so we would do, like we started in DC, and he got huge grants, and he would fly in people from all over the world with disabilities. And so we would work with them for a week. Some of the people had never traveled before. And it used to be where you could go to the gate and get people. And so we would go and meet them at the airport. And so somebody would come and part of their wheelchair would be missing or something, or they couldn't figure out how to put it back together. And so you might have 12 people in wheelchairs, and then 8 who were blind, and then 6 who couldn't, hear.
So you were like, he was doing presentations for the ADA community, right, as well as like for corporations that were.
It was mostly for the ADA communities, and especially with ethnic groups, minority.
Like to educate them on how to use
and how to be empowered.
Services.
And how to be empowered with their community. And so we would do that in DC, and then he took me to Hawaii twice, and to Saipan, and Arkansas, and Colorado, and so I started doing a lot of training with him. At the same time, so this friend of mine said, come and talk to my board, because I'm on the board of the Chickasaws. And so I went and did True Colors with the board. And so when we're at this little hotel in Purcell, and when I got ready to start, Chief Anatubby put up a clock on the desk, and he said, you have 15 minutes, and then your time's up. Well, at that time, when I would do True Colors, I would dress up in different costumes.
For each color?
For each color. And by the time I got to the last color, I actually put on a dress and talked in a falsetto, things I couldn't do now. But then, and I remember him going, come over here and sit on my lap. And so it went like for an hour or so. And so it was just hilarious, and we had a great time. Well, then that opened the door for me working with like the 5 largest tribes a lot. And so I did a lot of opening for their conferences. They would have me come to their own tribal places and do trainings for like staff at schools. And
where did you come up with the trainings? Did you make this? I mean, did you make up the activities and the things that you did with people?
Yes, yeah.
So you just thought of ideas?
Yeah. Yeah, they had this one where I had this friend, and he got me to go over to the Cherokees to spend 3 days because they got a grant to make a movie with young people. And so he wanted me to help work them into a team. And so he left, and so Native Americans are great because when you go into them, no one speaks. They're just very polite and like, yes, don't laugh at your jokes and stuff. He comes back 3 days later. They're wearing dresses, the guys and stuff. I mean, we just have like went bonkers with each other. And he's like, what the hell did I leave you to do to them? Because we were like ruined. And so I worked a lot with those guys for several years. And then they started having a push to only have Indians do Indian work. And so I slowly started getting shut out of my work with them. But I really liked it. So I was doing both of those at the same time. And so I was kind of finding my footing on what kind of things worked. Like now I have like values that I put on our trainings, and I look for certain, like I want to create a safe space. I didn't know that then. I would just like go, okay, let's get them to talk here. And but really I was kind of looking for the same thing. I didn't understand intellectually what I was doing. I just knew I could work with a group and it would come out like magical.
Get their inhibitions down so that they could share.
Yeah.
What values did you?
You should have seen me do that with the disability group, because we went pretty hog wild crazy too. Because I mean, everyone always treated them with disabilities like there was something to treat them like with kid gloves. Mm-hmm. And I just went at them like I would anybody else. And so if they couldn't do something, then we would adjust it. And we would, so that it would fit them. But everything was just, everybody was included in that. And if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's cool that you.
What were the values? I don't know. I think they're probably the same values that I have now, but it wasn't until I got to possibilities that I really started looking at the undergirdings. Because the other place I did a lot of work is I was also doing a lot of work for the health department. And at that time, they would do health fairs around the state. This was still with kids, with teenagers, and they would have me come. And
so would you take the things that you had done with the kids and kind of repurpose them, and then kind of explore to branch out?
To try, what do I do to realizing that with kids, I could go in, like I can go in with a group of teenagers, and I could usually within 10 minutes get them to break down enough that we could be pretty authentic with each other. With adults, that might take an hour or 2 hours just because we're more well protected. And so I really, although now I can do that with adults, but at that time it took me longer to kind of break their guards down. And they people would dismiss what I did because they would just go, well, Byron does the silly stuff. And then we'll get down to the business. And some people like Dan, he would realize my value and use me. But a lot of times people would go, well, that's cute that you do that. And
didn't realize the humanity. Well, and I was going to ask you, like, was it a spiritual experience for you and others, like that you were at times?
Yeah, if you went back and asked them, I bet they would say they don't know. But I think it was just because really what we created was spaces where people had honest conversations about what was going on in their life. And so I think it was very spiritual. I just think truth was there. And we'd taken off the gloves enough to be truthful with one another. And I just think it's rare and hard. And to really learn some tools where you can get people to be authentic quickly is a gift that I was given that really.
So did you move from the ego of I'm good at this to when did the shift happen of, this is a purpose for my life?
Probably when I sobered up.
So around this time that you started.
The other thing is at this time, I also had relapsed from the first time I sobered up. So this was also during a period so there was a lot of ego driving. I mean, my ego was pushing a lot. And, I was trying to fill that hole inside of me with chemicals and with doing the work. Mm-hmm. And so if I'd go do the work, I would feel great, but then I'd feel bad a few minutes later and just have this huge hole. And so it was a lot of that was chemically keeping me from finding any kind of spirituality.
I see.
Was that a period? Paragraph. New paragraph.
What was going on in your personal life during that time?
So I probably met Alexis's mom, which is my 37-year-old. And because we had met probably the first time I sobered up. And then we were both in recovery. And so then I met her. We got married. And her dad was the the past chair of the English department. And I think
at OU.
At OU. And I think they were 900 years old at that time. They're very nice. I mean, they're very, I remember the first time I came over, her mom was sweating when I got there because she was so worried about cooking the perfect meal for me and that the dad would like me and that everything would be okay. And so I talked to the dad for, a little bit and we just kind of hit it off. And yeah. He taught me how you can make people feel bad without yelling at them. And because I grew up in a family if people were pissed at you, they would yell at you and call you names. So
him and my dad must have gone to the same school then.
So, well, it was really very different because they were always very, very polite. But then he would say stuff like I would say, "Hey, I got a new job," and he would go, "Is it a government job?" And so, I immediately felt bad about, oh my God.
No.
So, which really some of that trait, I think, tied into that wife, Joni, and I splitting up because I would have I had nowhere that I communicated my emotions because I married into that house and it was just very polite all the time. Our friends were polite and we said polite things.
There wasn't a lot of sharing your feelings happening.
Yeah. Unless you liked something and then this is great, but I really don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. And
how long were you guys married?
Maybe 5 years. 5 years.
Okay.
So
Alexis was pretty small.
She was small, and so then she still teases me about when we divorced because I got because I really kept pretty present in her life. And, but I got this apartment, but it only had one bedroom. And so we had bunk beds. So she was, and I go, in this grade, we have bunk beds.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, at least she had a bed.
She had a bed.
That's pretty good.
She had a bed. And so.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I think I shared a room with my son probably till he was in first grade.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and some of that, so, yeah. And so then I think I was crashing and burning. I was, so the last time that I used, I was probably like I was a known criminal, and that was what I was going for. I wanted to be a criminal, and I wanted.
You mean like when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I wanted to be a criminal. And this was so different because I wanted to be just like a average person with a family. But then I had like this raging disease inside of me. And so it was like I was living like these two separate lives. And I had broke up with Joni, and then later met Teresa, and we started dating and eventually moving together and marrying. And so she was really straight laced in terms of things, and so all of my using was completely underground. And it was probably the most miserable I've ever been in my life. And so works felt okay. But in terms of any kind of, I remember looking in the mirror one time and thinking that it was just black inside of myself because I just felt so dark. And I started stealing drugs out of people's purses and medicine cabinets. And so I had made all these friends at the church, and I'd go to their house and to visit them. And of course, they're open because I was like from church, and I rifled through their medicine chests. And then
they probably made excuses or didn't want to believe anything bad about you.
But I just did. One of the things I've learned about addiction is you just burn that bridge until it's completely burned. And so pretty soon when I'd come over, they'd like hide all the drugs or. Mm-hmm.
So this had you relapsed then before you got divorced and like during that whole period of time?
Yeah. Yeah. And so work-wise, it's just hard to know what I was doing because I just felt like I was just kind of hanging on. So I really wasn't focusing on work. I was just focusing on making sure that I had like a paycheck. And but I was doing to the groups, it probably seemed similar. But I just think probably on a vibration level, my vibrations were probably very low and scattered at that time and not really making strong connection.
That was and that sounds like that was most of your 40s.
Yeah.
Because probably by the time of your 50s, you were starting to get sober.
Yeah. And so I will tell you with my other three kids, though, I was always very present. Like I was using still, but I was still at Alexis's as PTA president. And
for Alexis, too.
Yeah. And so I would do stuff at school. I mean, my front was very like, he's a great dad, and then Alexis was living with us because her mom remarried and moved to Arkansas, and she didn't want to live there, so she was with us. And
So you had like all this good stuff happening, but then like a darkness inside that you were having to live a double life.
yeah,
So,
to the point that, I mean, if I wasn't such a coward, I probably would have killed myself.
it sounds like that was the impetus for the turnaround.
Yeah. It's funny, thinking back on that, there's not a lot of people that I'm close with during that period. But I have people before that I'm close with, but people during that period, no.
Mm-hmm.
And
not a lot of connections happening.
No. And I did the traditional alcoholic thing where, blinds shut, not inviting a lot of people over. So there was not much community and fellowship that I was building with other people. And so I just...
So with you being there for your kids, did you feel like you had quality time with them?
I felt like that if you don't understand like addiction, I just think that the primary relationship in your life with addiction is a chemical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that whatever I did with them, the chemical was always first. So if I had the chemical, I could spend time with them, but I'd be thinking about when that was going to run out and did I need chemical again? And so never like presence, like never with them.
Right. There was always a distraction of...
Yeah. And so looking at like how I raised Alexis, like Alexis has a lot more fear of intimidation by me because my idea of parenting was just to get her to do stuff and, clean your room, do this, da-da-da-da. Okay, we're going here, do this. And okay, that was nice, dance recital you did. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I got to leave now. And so not presence in terms of, hey, what's going on with you? And how are you? Until she became an adult. Then.
Well, thanks for being vulnerable about that. That part.
It is okay. It is okay. And so luckily we'll only have 2 people that listen. And so we'll be, this will happen to be the one where thousands of people, I want to hear this. And so, yeah, it's, I'm
glad that we get to continue this journey and talk about what happened after. Is there anything you want to say to kind of summarize or something you learned during that period or?
No, I think I about covered her all. So,
well, thank you for sharing. We don't often get to hear that part of people's story, and it's definitely a part of everyone's story, I think. So,
hopefully, everyone's not stealing drugs from all the medicine. There will be another
If not that, it'll be something else.
Yeah.
So.
What did I heard a guy say once? If it may cause drowsiness on a pill bottle, that was for him, and that was my motto too. I went into medicine looking for, does this cause drowsiness? Does this cause drowsiness? And so,
yeah. Well, thankfully, you found more than that.
Thankfully, or I probably wouldn't be here now. So.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and please stay tuned for our next episode where we get to hear more of the unfolding and blossoming of Byron's life.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform. Thank you all for listening.